Hello, everybody. This is Zyken, the wrestling technician from Montpellier, France, and you are watching the best indie wrestling show on the whole internet, CCP Podcast.
What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome back to Beyond the Bell. I am Chris Page, and that is probably a face you're not too familiar with unless you've joined us on our Twitch channel or some of the video replays here on YouTube. But making his Beyond the Bell debut, none other than Mr. Tiger, Tabar Ramsey. How are you, sir?
I am doing well. Today has been a great day. I am super excited to be here doing this, sharing my love of wrestling, and we have a guest that I'm super pumped to talk to today. I've seen his work, and I'm just so ecstatic to be here.
Well, it's going to be a fantastic conversation. Well, I guess we don't even need to really waste a whole lot of time here. We stumbled into, within our journey of independent wrestling, we always stumble into new companies, we stumble into new talents. It's just the fucking circle of life is how I described it to Johnny Pelazio. It's a circle of life of independent wrestling and professional wrestling. Our journeys, we never know where it's going to take us, and we don't ever watch anything with context. It's usually a first time watch. We came across House of Champions, which is based out of right outside of Orlando, if I'm not mistaken, or inside of Orlando. Did not know it was in Orlando at the time when we put the show on. Found out as we were watching the show, and oh, guess what? I'm a hop, skip, and a jump away from there. I was so blown away, and I think we were all blown away with what we saw based on this being a student show, that it warranted making a trip to go down and catch these guys and gals live, and that is exactly what it did. And some of the guys couldn't believe that I made the hoof, and I was, you guys are the future of the business. If we don't invest in the future, then what the fuck are we doing here? And that's exactly what's happened. Our guest today, one of the tremendous talents, really, that we've come across down there. One of many that'll be stopping by Beyond the Bell. The first coming to us out of House of Champions, the one and only Mr. Mo Malik. How are you, sir?
How's it going? What's going on? Super pumped to be here.
I'm living the
Thanks.
dream. That's all I can say. Just living
I hear
the
that.
dream. Fantastic to have you on. I know that we literally came across House of Champions. Like every other thing is on a whim. But when we did, and not only did we invest as a channel, our audience invested as well. And I, from my side of the coin, after we filmed that first show on House of Champions, I woke up to like 15 follows on social medias, to the point to where like I was like, what the fuck did I do? Like, who did I make mad? Did I aggravate somebody? Like, what? I was expecting a lot of hate because, social media. But it was a lot of love from a lot of you guys down there. And, everybody that sent me a message, pretty much sent them all the same thing back. Because I always got the thank you for taking, no. It's not about me. This is about you guys because you guys are the ones that are in there getting it done. And it was super impressive to the point to where obviously we made the trip down and we're coming back to the next show because you guys are worth our time, worth the time and energy to make some things happen. So it's a shout out to you guys and a kudos to what you have going on. Where we start with everybody. First of all, Toddy, would you say hello to our guest?
Uh, I'm so glad to be on the line with you. I saw your matches, and I don't use the word invest lightly. And so when I've seen you in the ring, I'm invested in it, and I definitely want to see more and more. And you are one of the drawing points that made me go, House of Champions. That's something I want to continue to watch.
Wow. I mean, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the kind words. And yeah, I mean, House of Champions is been incredible. I mean, for you guys to stumble upon what we do and the student shows is great. And I think that's exactly what happened, right? Like you stumbled upon it, the House of Champions reposted it, and then we all saw, we're like, who is CCP podcasting, and then we all just flocked to you. But yeah, it was really cool to. I think that was the first time for us for a student show to be reviewed in that way. The coaches sit down with us every time we have a student show and review and critique and stuff like that and give us feedback. But the fact that, you guys were doing it and doing it live and posting about it and reviewing it, I think everyone, it caught everybody's eyes. It's like, oh, this is cool. I want to hear. It's awesome to hear what the coaches have to say, but like it's nice to hear like what other people are saying too. So when you guys were doing that, it was like everybody flocked and wanted to hear how they were doing. So
Yeah, it truly was fun. I think we even had Wilson Dyer jump in on that first live stream and was giving us context, and which is something that we don't really get a whole lot of. And truthfully, like, you know, we don't ever know what we're watching, but we know good wrestling when we see it, right? Like my perspective, for those who don't know, I was in the ring in 1999 through 2005 and have been out for 20 plus years, and I see things through a different lens with guys like Toddy and Goth and Devlin to a degree. Like, you know, these guys aren't really that familiar with the inside of the ring. So when we're watching this stuff back, like it's like Goth said to a guy the other day that we were talking to out of South Australia. He's listening to me and he's learning from me as we're talking. And the harsh reality of it is there's you can find good in everything that you watch if you look for it. Even if there's mistakes, even if there's issues, even it's not nothing's going to be the cleanest, especially on the student level. So if you open your mind up and know this going in, and you see it for what it is, you can see where there's talent, and you can see where there's a lot of really good things, and it wasn't just one person with HOC. It was match after match after match after match. It was the segment work. It was some character work that was going on. Like that's what made me look deeper into it. And then when I found out it was in Orlando, I went, well, here I come. That's just what I do. You specifically, like once we got a chance to link up, I'm gonna go to a DM that you and I had shared back and forth. Not to give too much away because we'll talk about it here in a minute. You're getting started, as you say, it was a little later, and you're in your early 30s, and I had to remind you. I was like, brother, Diamond Dallas Page didn't start till he was 36 or 37, and look at what he did and the legacy that he left. So nowadays, your prime is right around the corner. You're not even there yet. And if you're as good as you are right now, I use this analogy all the time, and it's because I mean it. If you're as good as you are right now, imagine where you're going to be in 5 years. You're going to be just into getting into your real prime, right? And then you've got another 3 to 5 after so you may be getting started a little late. It's not going to stop your success rate. 100% not going to. So with that being said, let's start at the beginning with you. First of all, when did you fall in love with professional wrestling, and what led you to getting started, and how did you come across House of Champions, if that was your first starting point? Was House of Champions your starting point?
Yes and no, and I'll tell you why. So to answer your question initially about when I fell in love with wrestling is probably around 10 years old. I remember specifically it was fifth grade. I think it's 10 years old if my math's correct. I remember having a conversation with some of the kids there. They were talking about a show that happened the night before and how something crazy happened, and they were talking about like, oh my god, did you catch it last night? And I had no idea like what pro wrestling was, even like at that point at all. So I was talking to some of the kids. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And they were telling me about pro wrestling and all this stuff. And they're like, you should check it out. Here's a channel it's on. Here's when it comes on, catch it next week, whatever. I'm like, cool, yeah, check it out. And I believe I first watched SmackDown, and that's Blue Brand has always been true to my heartbeat because of that. It's my first pro wrestling love. So watched SmackDown, absolutely fell in love with it, and have been a fan since. And that was Ruthless Aggression era. So that's my golden era, if you will.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it's the best. I'm just saying it's my nostalgic golden era.
I,
I think we
I,
can.
I
All
feel
right.
you, but I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. That's fair. That's totally fair. Um, so yeah, Ruthless Aggression era. Grew up in that, and just always been a fan, right? And I've always loved, some of the greats from that era. You got Ray is my all-time favorite, John Cena, Eddie, Edge, guys like that. And then it wasn't until later on in life, I think it was right before the pandemic, 2019. I was like 4 or 5 years out of the military at that point. I was in the Air Force for a little bit, and I wasn't as active as I was before. So I'm like, I gotta get back into being active. I gotta find something. I just stumbled upon, I just thought about searching for pro wrestling. I was like, how do you get into this? So I stumbled upon a school that was in the area. Long story short, hit them up. Said they told me the deal. They were a more advanced school, so I will preface that. But he's like, you're more than welcome to come in, and I was very clear. I was like, I have zero experience. Like, I've just been a fan. That's it. Never even saw a ring in person. Like, never stepped into one. They're like, yeah, no problem, come through. So came in, and it was, not to dive too deep into it, but to leave it at it. It was pretty much a super advanced school. We'll leave it at that. I came in, I was already taking bumps, I was taking hip tosses, I was taking body slams, and I've never taken a bump in my entire life. So I ended up coming home that night, and I was talking to my wife, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is for me. I mean, I got pretty beat up. And not in a beat up to where, like, they beat the crap out of me, like punch me in the face, but I was getting thrown around, and at the time I was probably like a buck.
Hey, the
Yeah,
ropes are no joke, especially if you've never been
not at all.
involved. I'll tell you this, and it's because I understand where you're coming from. The end of my first day, maybe it was day two, because it was back to back. My back was so bruised, it looked like I'd had like a kendo stick just whacked all over my back. It was to the degree that I couldn't pick up my 3-year-old niece who weighed maybe 20 pounds. I couldn't pick her up. In a pool, mind you. Zero gravity. So I feel
I
you.
believe.
I feel you
Yeah,
100%. If you don't know, you don't know. I
that's
completely understand. So, like, to be thrown into that, like, that's the epitome of baptism by
it. 1,000%. Yeah, just thrown to the wolves. And it wasn't that it was obviously the pain's there, but I just didn't know what to do. Like, they were running drills, and I had no idea what they were doing. And to them, that school specifically, they were just like, this is how you learn. You get thrown into it. This is how you learn. But I'm almost certain I got concussed that night. I'm pretty sure it hit my head repeatedly. Didn't know how to bump. I didn't know how to tuck my chin, any of that. So talked to my wife that night. I was like, yeah, I don't think this is for me. And she's like, yeah, it doesn't sound like it is. I'm like, I'm good with being a fan right now. And just kind of left it at that. Fast forward to 2023. So was that like 4 years, 3, 4 years later? I started getting the itch again. I'm like, you know what? Why don't I give this another shot? So I started looking for schools in the area, and it just so happened that the House of Champion opened up, I think, like a month prior to me searching. I was like, oh, this school is closer to me. They're brand spanking new. They seem to have, like, I love their site. First of all, that's what caught me right away. Like, if you have a good website, like, that's going to catch you right away. So good website, and they also had an option to where you didn't really have to talk to anybody to get started. I'm not trying to sound like an introvert, even though I feel like I am, but it's just easier, right? Like, if you're
far.
gonna order something online, you're gonna go on Amazon. You don't have to like talk to anybody. You gotta go to the store. You don't have to do anything. You just kind of like do it, and you're on your way. So they had a self-selecting calendar to where you sign up if you're a beginner or if you're advanced. Obviously, I'm a beginner, signed up. Got a text the next day, hey, thanks so much for signing up. We're looking forward for your free class, for you coming in for your free class. Here's what to expect. And then I came in, and it was a total 180 from the previous school that I was at. I don't think I took a bump until like 3 months later. We learned the fundamentals, we learned how to roll and all that fun stuff. But the first day, it was just like, this is how you roll, and this is all you're gonna do. And I was like, I'm totally fine with that. And I came home that night, and I wasn't concussed, so that was a plus too. But yeah, it was just a total 180 of an experience. And again, I don't want to say anything against the other school. This was just, I think, what I needed as a beginner to get started. And yeah, the list goes on. The facility, you've seen it, Chris, in person,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yeah.
facility's
Very,
immaculate.
very impressed when I walked through the front
Yeah,
doors there. It, not the first time. Like, of course, I couldn't find it initially because I'm an old fuck and I just can't see like I used to. But I found it. It was usually we'd say I'm set up like PCW when we went to the PCW show. The
Okay.
change for wrestling. So, but they're really nice. You walk in the front doors. It's very clean. It's very put together. Um, again, that's a piece of when we were watching shows back. What I'm looking at is like production. What does the building look like? I mean, how is it set up? What are the fan? Are they invested? Is it this? Is it that? Um, and that was a piece that drew us in. It drew me in. That was well put together. And like I told uh, HOC, I'm not sure who handles social media. I think it's Jamie's wife. I think it's
Yep,
Renee.
Renee.
When I told Renee via DMs, I was just like, after the show, and I haven't shared this with anybody, how impressed I was with just sitting back, it's on the second row, and watching the production, watching those guys running around, making sure they're getting the best shots, making sure that you guys are looking fantastic. It was just refreshing to see. And as a school, I wish that they were like that when I was coming in and when I was getting started. It was very similar to what you described. It's very much baptism by fire. And that's not fair to anybody. And that's not I'm not knocking anybody for it by any means. Some people, it is sink or swim, but when you're stepping into a profession like this, you don't throw somebody right into the thick of it without giving them a little bit of a heads up. They can get hurt
Yeah.
real easy, with any fucking move. It's just a fraction of an inch one way or the other, and you can paralyze yourself depending on what you're doing. It's just how that's real. That's it's just I don't know. Irks me a little bit, but I get it. They want to see if toughen you up and see if you're going to come back and yada yada. No, I think you made the right move at that point in time. You listened to your gut, and your gut didn't steer you wrong. And now you found yourself in a much better place. That at least from my perspective, that's really structured. It's put together. There's talented people running it, and it's just coming together so nicely. So when you finish your first class here, and again, this you've only been involved for a year or two. Uh, what was your mentality when you walked out that door? Did you know immediately that you wanted to come back? Like, okay, now this is something. This is at a pace that I'm comfortable with. I got a good feel here. Did you get that? Did you have that experience?
I did 100%. I walked out of there like I want to come back and I want to do more. Like and I think too like the environment, like you just feel it, right? And you probably felt it, again that day when you came in. Um, when I came in that day for my free class, like everybody, not all at one time, but like started coming up and just like, hey, like how you doing? I'm Mo, or hey, I'm so and so. Nice to meet you. Oh, your name's Mo. Cool, welcome. Literally every single member that was there that day like said hello, and I think that goes a long way. Just like breaking the ice, especially with somebody coming in not knowing anything yet, and just like having to like look around and saying like I don't know, being the new guy, and it just helps give you a little bit of comfort knowing like okay, cool, like you're breaking that ice. I know who you are. Like I know this person by name. So you feel comfortable almost immediately, and I think that was the initial reaction. And then leaving too, it's like I feel comfortable. I feel great. Now I know what this looks like, and I think I can do this. And it's hard not to compare, this experience with the other experience too. And again, the same thing that you said, I don't want to knock anybody's training style. Some people learn that way, right? And I tend to learn things that way just being thrown into things, but I think with something like this and the room for error being so small, it really just threw me in for a loop. But it really kind of like addressed any doubts that I have on like I can actually do this, you know what I mean? And I played sports my entire life. I played baseball, I played basketball, like I was very active. So it kind of like reinforced that like hey, it's not that you can't do this, it's just that you were in a different situation that um maybe prevented you from being the best, from doing it as best as you can so early on, if that makes sense. So immediately knew as soon as I walked out, and I reached back out to Renee and Nick. I was like, let's do this thing. And they're like, cool, let's do it. You want to come back tomorrow? I was like, yeah, I'm 100% in.
I love hearing stories like that because it shows that atmosphere is kind of everything to a degree. And again, like some people do learn like that. Baptism by fire is not it's not for everybody, but I just truly feel like that was not the direction to go, and I'm so glad that you didn't and wasn't stupid. And I don't mean to put it insensitive way by any means, but not stupid with the decision. Because you get one life. As you just get one. That's it. If you waste it, you squander it. That's up to you and your situation per se. Uh,
Yeah.
so when
And
you Toddy,
one life, one body, right?
that's right, Monty. That's right. Toddy, let me come over to you. Anything you want to ask him a little bit about the early days getting started in the HOC? Like, what's on your mind?
I think that um, when he's talking about it, just from a viewer standpoint, you can tell that HOC cares, and care is very important. And you said you were in the military, and so am I. So I totally understand that sentimentality there. They go out of their way to make sure they get the best angles, like it was said earlier. They don't treat it like it's a student show, so we don't have to care about this. So you get that sense when you walk in right away. And I loved hearing that about your journey, because I think when you feel like someone cares about you, you know they're going to be safe with you, you know they're going to take care of you. And I think that that is very important. And one thing that I do love that they do, and it's very subtle, they'll casually throw out there, hey, this is that person's first match, or, whatever. They say how many times they've been in the ring, so you can kind of expect that. Um, as you were going through this journey, how did they continue to build on that comfort level with you, where you knew, I'm safe here, this is exactly like what I want to do, like I trust these people essentially with my well-being, because quality of life is everything.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think just constant communication, like constant things that are happening around the Hawk or any changes that are happening. We have, a big group chat of like 30, 40 people of all the members essentially, and they constantly are just communicating on important things that you need to know, but also just like the small things, right? And it sounds so cheesy, but like, hey, it's this person's birthday today. Happy birthday, right? So you're like getting to know a little bit more about other people, or like, hey, this person is graduating from a bachelor's degree in this like this week, like like you're. It's not just like, hey, a bunch of wrestlers in a group chat. Like they remind everybody that we're all humans and we're on our own different paths outside of wrestling too. So I think that allows everybody not only to get to know each other better, but to build trust with each other and build trust with the coaches and the owners as well. Um, Another thing too that comes to mind is just during the training. So the way that their curriculum is set up is you start obviously on the most basic thing, which is roles, and you kind of like progress as you go on. And there's a lot of times to where I've heard, throughout my training is like, hey, like what you're specifically on, what, like, let's just say, flip bumps, right? Like you're on flip bumps and you don't move on from flip bumps until you master it. So I've heard multiple times, throughout my training, like, hey, like that looks good, it's passable, but it's not perfect. And I don't mean perfect that everything needs to be perfect and our coaches are perfectionists, but they're setting a standard for every single thing, so that when you get that green light and you're off into the wild, like they're putting the stamp on you, like they know comfortably that you're gonna be able to take care of what you need to take care of, and you're representing the Hawk in that way. So I think even hearing that like during can be frustrating as like an athlete, because you're like, I just want to get to the next thing. I just want to get to the next thing. But I appreciate it, because they're they're constantly reminding you that what you're doing is passable and it looks good, but I want it to look like chef's kiss. And I think I appreciate that very much, because I don't want to look good. I want to look fantastic. I want somebody to be like, where did that kid train out from? Like, where do you come out? Like, what schools? Oh, House of Champions. Yeah, that makes sense. So I think that helps build that trust with the members as well. Just like knowing that they, excuse my language, but like they give a shit about you, right? Like they care. Um,
Oh, no excuses for the language. Say whatever the fuck you want to say. Uh, I will say this, and this is maybe from the coaching side of the equation too, maybe a perspective that you got to look at from their angle. Whoever walks out that door, whoever they say, all right, they're putting their stamp on. So that, doesn't just stop when you graduate. That doesn't just stop. Like you're a representation of them moving forward in all aspects of the business, if you will, of the industry. So yeah, like I definitely would take that shit seriously and want you to be as well fine-tuned as humanly possible. And a piece of that, something else that just I'm the little things. I'm that guy. When I saw that you guys are in a 20 by 20 ring, I did a happy dance because, and I'm gonna tell you why. Again, we watch stuff from all over the world. Right? We independence, mainstream independence, low scale independence, student shows. That 20 by 20 is a TV fucking ring. And if the time comes and the trigger is pulled and you get signed or someone gets signed, footwork is very difficult. And if you come up in a 14 by 14, a 16 by 16, or an 18 by 18, you're going to have to take those additional steps. And that's may not be the easiest thing to fucking deal with or come across. It's a lot easier to take away and go down into an 18 by 18 or a 16 by 16 than it is to work up to. So I saw that, and that's what made another piece of it that on the backside of it that made me look at this. There's something really cool happening here because not only are these guys are well polished in the ring from what we see, they're in a 20 by 20. This isn't, and that may be so small and insignificant to a lot of people, but to me, that separates and gives it a lot more credibility and a lot more validity to what's going on behind the closed doors there when you guys are training. Because if you know what I'm saying, does that make sense? Am I laying that out there for you to understand?
100%.
Or perfect.
It makes total sense, and it makes all the difference too. And I we're all so grateful to have a 20 by 20, and we've had some people come in that have wrestled for years, right, that have only wrestled in like 16 18 foot rings, and they'll like sign up for a class and they'll immediately feel the difference, right, because it's their first time being in a 20. And like you said, it's a great point. It's better to take away than to add, because you'll pick up the footwork right away. Like you'll see the shuffling of the feet. I'm sure you've seen it. Like it's like you're trying to like get your bearing right away as you're running the ropes. Like this is not right. It's just small things like that can really like you'll be able to point out really quickly.
Let me ask you this: as you got started with your training and started on your journey, everybody has something that's difficult for them to grasp initially. It takes time to deal with mindless footwork. By the way, you're talking to a guy who tripped going not only up the ring steps but through the ropes as well in his debut. It was fantastic, and it
I gotta
wasn't
see that.
it wasn't intentional. Thank God YouTube wasn't a thing back then. Right? Thank God, because yeah, it was rough. What was something that was difficult for you to initially grasp? I mean, then you could be one of those guys that took it naturally under the right circumstances, in the right teaching circumstances. What or if you had a difficulty, what would it
Man, I wish I was one of those guys that just breezed through the training and the curriculum, but I wasn't. And I think right away, like the first thing that comes to mind is just rope bumps. As stupid as that sounds,
be? Doesn't sound stupid at
rope
all.
bumps, yeah, is I don't know what it was, and I mean, you can talk to Keiko about this, and he's bless his soul, he's super patient, but I just could not get the perfect bump, and that's the very first bump that you take. You go the way they do it, at least. They go rope bump, then they go standing bump, then they go snap bump, then they go handstand bump, and then flip bump. So there's levels to like these bumps. Um, but that rope bump, I don't know what it was. I think part of it, honestly, like when I first started my training, I was a buck 35. I was super skinny, and I think what it came down to is I was bitching out and taking my bump. If is what I think. The coaches never told me that, but I think that's what it was. So every time I would bump, like I would let go, I would kind of like wince and like kind of take away from it. So you never got the sound, you never got the impact, it just always looked like complete crap. And I think, and Keikoa just kept telling me, he's like, one day you're gonna nail this, and then that's it. Like it's almost like you unlock it, and then you're never gonna go back. And I think I was bumping for probably a good 2-3 months, which sucked. Coming home after bumping, I don't know, 50 times a day, 3 days a week, it'll catch up to you. Um, And I think one day it finally happened, and since then I've not gone back, and I haven't had any issues. I think not until like the flip bump, because that one's a little tricky to land like super flat. But yeah, that initial rope bump, man, it's a weird one. It's a weird one because you're not used to falling on your back ever, right? And if anytime you want to fall, you want to put your hands up, but you're obviously not supposed to do that. But yeah, the rope bump was the death of me for a while.
Well, on the backside of that, what was something that was easy for you to pick up
Um, that's a good question. I think the face bump was super easy. I mean, just falling on your face, right?
on? Flare flop, baby. That's what I call it.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Um,
don't listen. If I ever see somebody take a flare flop, ever see it, I don't care if I'm live, if I'm on a stream, or if I see it in an arena or at a show. I will scream as loud as you've ever heard flare flop, and I will get up and strut. It. I will do something because to me that is. I just love the bump. I just love it.
it's
I've
so
seen
good.
it. I've seen it. He does.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and I'd say hip tosses. I think those are fun. Once you get the flip bump down, hip tosses is essentially just that. Um, and then I think I picked up running the ropes pretty quickly. Again, like passable, but then just perfecting it and not doing things like the now I'm getting diving too deep into it, but the he Kingo calls it something. I won't expose him right now. Actually, I'll leave that. I'll leave that
Okay.
for later. But
Yeah.
when you put your foot up and you're running the ropes, so you put one foot up. You essentially don't want to do that. He has a word for that, but I don't want to expose him. So
Yeah.
I'll
Nope.
get you next time.
Nope. You don't have to do all that. Toddy, let's circle around to you. Where do you want to go? What's on your mind?
So we're talking about the training, and you were already in shape. So there's shape and there's stamina, and then there's in-ring shape and in-ring stamina. Can you tell us a little bit about the difference between those?
Oh my goodness, Chris, you could probably talk about this too. There's just it's totally different. You could be in shape and you could run miles, but having in-ring cardio, the only way to have in-ring cardio is to just do in-ring cardio, like work practice matches, run drills in the ring. It's totally different because you're not just getting on a treadmill and running and focusing on your breathing. You're getting in the ring with somebody else, trying to focus on your breathing while you're selling, while you're screaming, while you're yelling, while it's just so much. It's like a baseball swing, right? Like there's so many points to it that the only way to really train that is by how you say, but practice how you play, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the that was I think that's a lot of the big challenge that a lot of people struggle with is they'll work on cardio outside of the ring, but once we run drills, they get gassed really quickly. But really, the only remedy to that is to come in more and get some time in the ring.
Brother, I think I'd
Chris, I know you know.
at this point in time, I'd gas out in 60 fucking seconds. I am so past ring shape. It's not even. I'm so past out of shape. It's not even funny at this point. But we're correcting it day by day, little bit by
There
little
you go.
bit. There's daily wins and there's daily losses. I win more than I lose, and I'm okay with that right now.
Love that. 1% every day.
Just a life, man. Bad
Yeah.
choices got me here, so now I got to correct them.
Hear that?
Let's talk a little bit about your debut when you finally get the green light. First of all, was there like a time frame on that, or did they just come to you and say, "We think you're ready, so we're going to put you on the show"? What's that conversation look like, and how did that make you feel, if that was the conversation, to know that your hard work is paying off, you're getting the stamp of approval?
Yeah, great question. So there's really, when we say at the Hawk, at least when you get greenlit, it's when you're essentially like you're greenlit to work shows outside of the Hawk. But when you're training at the Hawk and you're not necessarily greenlit yet, you can still be put on shows if you meet some of the class requirements and stuff like that. So for the shows for the Hawk shows specifically, it was more so. In the beginning, like the way we would plan them is like everybody would throw out their ideas and then the coaches would kind of put it together. So I think the first match that I was in at the Hawk was a battle royal, and that was like my official debut. And that was really fun because that a battle royal is a perfect way to jump into a match like with having no previous match experience, right? Because
Oh
you can
yeah,
kind of
just punching and
kill it.
kicking, bro. That's it.
Exactly. You're not doing any crazy spots. You're not doing any big moves, unless maybe like you're in the final two. But
It's giving you
yeah,
that
that was
moment though to get the get those little jitters as soon as you step through the ropes like that. You get that opportunity to say and at least feel it and be like, oh, that's what it feels like, and
yep.
then
That's
get thrown over the top. So,
yep. And then you're like, that was awesome.
let's
I
do
want
it
to do it
again.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So that's exactly what happened. It was that battle royal. Got the jitters out, as you said, and from then just started getting booked on the show, on the student shows a lot more, which is really awesome. And I I can't talk about those student shows enough, man. Like it really I've had to do, or I've been a part of them quite a bit before I actually got greenlit to start working shows outside of the Hawk, and I'm so glad for that because I would rather shake the jitters and have those, have that anxiety like at the Hawk, and we still have people at those shows, right? But it's mainly friends and family unless it's a premium live event, as they call them, when we have like when we're selling tickets. But even then, I would much rather make mistakes on those shows than make mistakes outside, to where again that question comes up, like, oh, where does this guy train at? Like, like he's making some simple mistakes. Oh, House of Champions, ooh, yikes. So yeah, those shows are amazing. And then when I officially got greenlit to work shows outside of the Hawk, um, that was a really really special moment for me. And the way that it was done too, I'll always remember it. Um, yeah, I don't know if you guys want to be bored with that. I can share a little bit
No,
about it.
I want
I
to
don't want
hear
to
it.
divert.
I
Okay, right on.
Please.
I want to hear it.
So to make a long story short, I for a while, I've been at it for probably a year or so at that point, a year some change, and I'm having consistent conversations with Keikoa, like, hey, like, here are my goals, and here's what I want to accomplish, and hopefully I can start working shows by this date. Is this realistic? And I'm having these one-on-one, and he's like, you're almost there, we're just kind of fine tune a few things, and like, cool, like, sounds good. So I would check in with him every few months to see where I'm at, and me just being, an athlete, being competitive, and just wanting to like really get there. I'm like just being transparent with him and having these conversations. He was totally okay with that. So he left it. There was an opportunity that came up for a local show here, a local pro actually, local pro wrestling in Claremont, and they were doing a 30-man Royal Rumble, which a lot of promotions don't do 30-man Royal Rumbles, and they do this. They do this every year. So the promoter there was looking for a bunch of guys, and I messaged Keikoa, and I was like, "Hey man, like, do you think that this is something that I'd be able to do? I know I'm not greenlit yet." Um, and then he's like, "Hey, let's." Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's talk more tomorrow." And tomorrow is our annual Christmas holiday party that we have every year. So we had the holiday party. It was awesome. Towards the end, they're giving out some awards like they typically do, which is really cool. And then they call up like a bunch of people that have graduated or have been greenlit from that year and the year before. And there's like three, four people. And that was the second Christmas party, but that was the first time they were doing certificates. So they gave out the certificates. They were like, let's take pictures. And then Keikoa was like, oh wait, hold on a minute. We have one more. And then he pulls out a certificate out of nowhere. He's like, Mo, get your ass up here. And I was like, oh my goodness. And that was just amazing. Having everybody there, everybody just clapping and cheering and having the support from everybody, and just like it wasn't like a finally moment. Not that I wasn't trying to rush it. I don't want to make it seem that way, but it was just like, man, this is it. Like, this is a really big deal, and it felt like a graduation. Like, I've been working at this for not for so long, but it was not a 4-year degree, but it felt that way, right? Like, to me, like, it's very special. Like, this means that I can go out and wrestle for other shows, and it was just really huge. I talked to Kiko out after. We had a really nice conversation. I gave him a hard time because he knew for months that he was going to do this at the Christmas party, but he just kept it from me. So I was giving him a hard time about it. And I think literally that next weekend, I got an opportunity to work at one of the promotions here, Atomic Legacy Wrestling. I was putting a triple threat, which was really awesome. So I wasted no time. Got the green light and just started working there right away. And I've been trying to get as many bookings as possible since. So that's how it happened.
I think that's fantastic. Especially, I love
Yeah,
the fact that it
Mhm.
kept. I'm all for a good rib, and the fact that
yeah,
it
yeah,
kept that from you, and put you on the spot, makes me smile. Tickles my heart
yeah,
because that'd have been like that.
100%.
Totally been something I'd have done.
Yeah,
When
I
you
could have been, you know.
yeah, facts. Thus far along your, within your journey, obviously, I understand why that would be such a big moment, right? Because I go back to, when I got tapped. That's what we used to call it back in my day. And that's from
Yep.
Alabama. Um, but it wasn't nearly as strenuous. Obviously, like times were different, and it was just a whole different scene the entire way around. That moment though is instant validation. It's I get it. It's that, I mean, if this is something you want to do and you've got the coaching staff that's at House of Champions, for them to collectively say this is you're ready to make some things happen. I Brad, I'd have probably cried. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'd probably broke down like a little baby, and
It
been
was,
been perfectly fine with it.
yeah, it was one of those moments for sure. You know, it was totally thrown off guard. And yeah, I like remember, and I think there's a picture out there somewhere I'll send to you guys later that someone actually got the moment of me like that like really face, but also just being super excited and getting up there. And yeah, man, it was a very special moment. I'll always remember it. And they just did something similar with Destin, who's freaking awesome. I love Destin.
God, I
In our last show.
hope he punches
Yeah.
Mike Enos in the fucking face.
Oh, I hope so too. It's gonna be good when they finally get together again.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, they did something similar with him, to where it was a dark match after one of our student shows, and they're like, "Hey, before this dark match, I have something in my hand," and Destin was completely mind blown. It was a really special moment. So they're really good about making those moments, man. Because it's one thing to be like, "All right, kid, you ready to go out there," but it's one thing, but to have that moment, you'll always remember in the back of your mind, like that's special, you know.
Yeah, that's another. It's a thing that kind of separates, the HOC. It is they treat you guys like they're like you're their own because you are, and it goes that says a lot. It's a testament to their program. When you got that green light and you just started, off to the races, you've gone. Give me some of your highlights thus far, like what's something that I'm not gonna say that you've had this moment yet, but I always say that all of us who have been in the ring, there's a moment that it just clicks, and you're like, I fucking got it. I know what I'm doing now. I've been doing this wrong, and the light just went off. I can tell you when mine was. It was 2000. I was going to right over a year, and I was in the ring with, who the fuck was I in there with? I think it was Ricky Morton, and it was right Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, and then the light went off, and I went, oh, this is what you were talking about. I more like, slow down, dude, slow the fuck down. You're
Yep.
going too fast. Slow down. No, I'm not. You just can't be. I'm good. No, slow down. Yeah. Oh, there it is. What was your aha moment? Have you had one?
I think I've had a couple, but truthfully, there's every time I get in there, I'm obviously more comfortable now, but um, I think every time I get in there, I'm still thinking about like, hey, like just be cool, slow down. That's like the biggest thing too, is like slowing down, right? Like you just want to get in there and do stuff and be fast and all this shit. But yeah, I've had a couple moments to where I'm like leaving, coming out of the ring after a match and hitting the curtain to the back and just like, man, that was great. Like I felt present. I was listening to everything the crowd was saying. I was just like stoking it in as versus like, let's get to the next spot. Let's get to the next spot, right? And I think that those are the in the two couple moments that I probably had, was probably at Local Pro. They have an awesome locker room there too, so that helps. But just being able to like finish a match and be like, yes, like I want to feel this way every single time. There's an ongoing joke of like, what's the best part of the match for you, and it's like the finish, right? Only because like you're that's like the last thing you do, and then you get out of there. But like I like I like to be present in everything before that, and I think it only makes you a better wrestler. And I aim every single time to be in that zone, and it's hard, right? Like even now, like I still wrestle shows, and I'm like in the middle of a match, and I'm like thinking about the next thing, but also like just trying to remind myself, like, slow down, sell, interact with the crowd, soak it all in, smell the flowers. And it can be hard when your adrenaline's pumping and you're gassed and you're running around and you're trying to remember things. Like it's very overwhelming. But yeah, I've had a couple of those moments, and I hope that I have more of those moments as I put
Oh,
some more reviews.
you're going to. I can tell you that now. You're going to. There's going to be plenty of them to come.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool to sit back and see, and listen to you guys when you're, because again, there's a lot of it is mainly centered around, I guess, I love professional wrestling so much, and us on the channel, like there's like it's just one of those things, and it's the one thing about HOC. I'll go back to this is how infectious the nature is. I think as soon as we got out, by me and my partner, when we left, I may have called Sam, excuse me, Toddy. Uh, like literally as soon as we got out of there, and I was like, man, there's the energy in here. It's infectious. There's a lot of real positivity going on. I look over, I see Bobby Fish sitting back on a weight bench, just watching. You know,
Bobby's awesome.
Jamie Stanley's on the second row with his kids watching and watching everything going down that's going on. And it was a moment that you take it in, and the atmosphere is there. I am so glad that we stumbled across it, man. That's for damn sure, because it opened us up to lots of you guys that are right here in our own backyard. That we spend so much time overseas and looking at stuff really all over. We forget and maybe neglect what's going on around us. So the HOC now, not, and this is a beautiful thing. I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant. It's a beautiful thing about professional wrestling and how it especially if you have a platform like ours. We see you through the HOC. You now just also turned me on to two other companies that I know nothing about, never heard of, but now we'll go out of our way to find out what's going on because you guys are attached to it, and it's a way for us to continue supporting you and the HOC and the general market as a whole, because there's a lot of really good stuff if you go out and you look for it. You're not going to find it if you don't go out of your way. And I think that's just fucking really the standard of when I say professional wrestling can bring people together.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's an understatement, right? Like, it doesn't matter what you believe in or what your political views are, or what your religion is. Like, if you put a bunch of people that love professional wrestling in the same room, like, they are going to get along, and they're going to get along great, right? Um, and I think that's something that the HOC does a really good job at. Even after our shows, and you saw it the other day, like every single show after we finish, it's like SNL. Everyone is just hanging out, like
Yeah.
talking, chatting, right? Like talking to each other's family members and friends and each other, and it's
Yep.
beautiful, man. And not every place is like that. I'm sure you know that, Chris. Like, not every locker room is like
No.
that.
I went out. I mean, when I saw, I think it was when the show was over with, and I'm terrible with names. And I saw you were on the other side of the ring. Uh, it took me a minute to realize the young lady that was there. She competes. I can't remember her name off the top of my head right now. I think is she Puerto Rican?
Oh, Ivy Mercer. Yep,
Is it Ivy? A real
Ivy
bubbly
Mercer.
personality when she comes out through the curtain, trying to make sure
Yep,
it's the
Where's
right
my
girl.
black?
Yes,
Yep,
yes, a little Spitfire. I saw that she
I
was
love
over there when I came around the corner of the ring, and I wanted to definitely introduce myself to her because I just, Toddy's and I both have a deep respect for women and especially women in wrestling, all the way around. And she was one who caught our eye as far as female talents are concerned. And I was just like, yeah, I definitely want to introduce myself to her. I had such a pleasant conversation for just a few minutes with both of you. Just got to spend a couple of minutes with you guys on the way out, and it is a completely different scene. Speaking of House of Champions, am I correct when I say that are you coming up on your first ladder match?
I am. I am. The next show, our first premium live event of the year, first ticketed show, I am doing my first ladder match.
All right,
Ooh.
let's unpack this for just a second because when you're presented with the idea of doing a ladder match, what's that? How does that? What's that look like to you? Not only to you, but to the two other guys that are involved in this thing too. This is gonna be interesting. It was interesting as is. And now you incorporate a ladder. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here, guys?
That's exactly it. And my face was exactly just that. So Keikoa told me about the idea as we kind of go through this feud between Max Danziger and I. Can't stand that guy. Um, so he pitches the idea of like doing this, qualifying for the HOC championship and doing a ladder match. And I was, my face was just like I had to confirm. It was like a ladder match, like with actual ladders. Like, are we hypothetically speaking like climbing the ladder? No, actual physical ladder. And and he knew right away, like before I could even say anything. He's like, dude, it's gonna be fine. And I was like, okay, like I trust you. You're my coach. I know you wouldn't put me in harm's way. I know you're gonna, make sure that everything happens safely. But there's still a little bit of what's the right word here? I don't want to say concern, but some jitters there, right?
Hesitation.
Yeah, exactly. These
I,
are some jitters that I haven't experienced yet, right? These are different types of jitters going into this match. So, um, yeah, I'm still kind of thinking through that, still processing it, but I have trust in the HOC and that they'll handle everything as best as possible.
I didn't realize it was going to be a ladder match until after I bought the tickets and saw. I think it was I think it was your post. I think I saw on Instagram. I went, ooh, this just got a
I
little bit more. Yeah, and I'm real curious to see what goes down and how it shakes. And I know that it's a big opportunity. Is everyone involved? Is this all three of your first ladder matches, or is it just yours? Or do you
um,
know?
yeah, it is Max's first ladder match as well. I don't know about Blanco Loco. He may have done one in the past before. So
Okay, so now we got to see how this plays because I remember when I had mine, and I did three, and after the third one, we had an aluminum ladder, and I got cut pretty bad, and I was like, fuck it, if it's an yeah, I'm not doing it, not doing it. I'm just not. Somebody says, oh, we're gonna do a ladder match. No, the fuck, I'm not. I'm gonna sit my ass right here, and y'all go have a good time with it. If it's a legitimate like construction style ladder, metal framed, yeah, I could fuck with those all day. Show me an aluminum ladder, I'll show you the door, uh, real quick and in a hurry. I think that you three can pull it off. I do. Uh, as I sit down and I watch and I look a little deeper and watch more stuff. I think that it's more that you guys are more capable of having, and you very well could probably be having match of the night uh, on a night that's going to be pretty stacked as is for. And I'm not going to say the word student show or a student premium event or whatever, and then take the word student out because you guys are producing monthly shows. There's stories being told. There's characters being developed. You're gaining experience and knowledge every week with training and odds and ends. You're professional wrestlers at the end of the fucking day. You and I see this show as a big opportunity for a lot of you guys to show why you're here and show what you're capable of. And I know for me, in my perspective, and Toddy's perspective, sitting ringside, because I made sure I got the ringside fucking tickets, uh, that we're going to enjoy watching this thing unfold. Is there, if you had to say anything to your opponents, anything that comes to mind that you would say to them, and that Speak your piece, brother. I'll clip that shit. Let's go.
Yeah, no, for sure. Blanco Loco. I mean, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Blanco Loco. He's been doing this for a while, and he does it with pride, and he does it fairly, and he's one hell of a competitor. I wish I could say that for all the opponents in this match. Max, at the end of the day, is just a turd, and I'm sorry. He you know, this is good though. He's a turd, but this is good, and I'll tell you why. Every single match that I've had with Max, he's always pulled something, whether it's a chair, a drumstick, or something, right? So that's what he has to do to win, and I know it, and everybody knows it. I don't need to beat a dead horse here. So we put him in an opportunity to where he can use whatever the hell he wants. He can use his ladder if he wants. So, I think
But
this is going to.
they also put you in the opportunity and in the position to do the same. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, took the word straight from my mouth. That's exactly it. So there won't be any surprises. There won't be, everything's out on the line. And I think I'm looking forward to really prove a point to Max this match after everything that him and I have gone through the last few months. And I look forward to competing with Blanco Loco, like I said, because I think he's a hell of a competitor. So it's going to be a good one. And I'm glad that you guys are going to be there in person. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be real good.
So, just out of curiosity here, because I'm totally into everybody's social media, will we be seeing a return of burping the baby during that match?
Man, I sure hope so. I sure hope so. That was the highlight of my weekend this past weekend. Is getting the burp Big Baby Ennis. Oh my goodness.
I am going to. What do you remember when I walked in, and I may have been before or after the show. I think one of the things I said may have been you, or if it was Destin. I think it was you. When I was like, I missed the boat, dude. I should have got that on a big fucking poster.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can do it next month.
Yes, please do. Make a ton of them.
Order's been placed.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Feel free to use my clip too that I posted of me burping him and just totally sharing that and making sure that people know that he's one big baby.
I love you for that. I love you for that. Toddy, what's on your mind?
So I have a two-part question for you. So we've talked about your experience. We've talked about the family dynamic. You've used the word respect a lot. Um, Now that you're established and you're with the House of Champions, the newer people come in. You're kind of in that big brother role model thing, which nobody ever asked to be somebody else's role model. We're just kind of thrust into it. What's that like for you when you find these things out? And then what's it like when it comes full circle and you're working a match with them in the ring?
That's a great question. I feel what's the word? It's a great feeling. It really is a great feeling to I by no means am I a coach or anything like that, but if I do get asked a question of like, hey, like how did you get through this part of the curriculum? Like did you struggle with this and how and why? And just I love being able to spread or share like what I did to overcome some of the things like in training that I was struggling with. Because I know that a lot of people did the same for me when they were ahead of me, right? When I was like brand spanking new, and it goes a long way. And wrestling's still weird because if you're learning something, you're trying to like visualize it before you do it, right? But it can take. It's so weird to explain, and you might know what I'm saying. Like it can take like the slightest adjustment of how you think about doing it, like how you see yourself doing it before you do it, for it to just click. Like the bumps example I was telling you about earlier. I think someone was like, hey, like try it like this, and since then I now don't even think about it, I just do it. So being able to like do that with maybe some of the newer people that are coming in is really awesome because I've been exactly there. And I always preface everything with like, hey, like by no means am I like a master at this or professional. I can just tell you what I have learned and maybe it'll help you. And sometimes when you see that light bulb moment of when somebody's doing something, like it's awesome, it's a great feeling because it's like, yes, like now you're overcoming and now you're going through like the next thing. Even with like small things, like someone the other day was asking me about my fitness journey and where I'm at and what I did and what I do, like to I put on, I think, about like 40-45 pounds as I started at the Hawk. And they're like, how did you do that? Like, what do you eat? Like, and I was like, this, like, I'm passionate about this because like I was literally in your shoes, right? So like literally, here's everything that I have done since then. And I preface it too, like, by no means am I a nutrition coach or anything like that, but this is what's worked for me. And I was like, I felt excited, like, and I was like taking pictures of like the yogurt that I eat and the protein bars and the protein, like, and everything and my meals. And I was like taking all these pictures, like, here's what you can buy, like. I'm not saying like this is the secret formula, but this is exactly what has worked for me, and I love being able to share that because it's something that's worked for me and it could work for others, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's just a good feeling to kind of spread that knowledge, and the other way around too. Like I learn things from people who are new as well. Like someone might ask a question in training or like why we do something or like or they'll do something and I'm like, hey, like I really like how you did that. Like can you do it again so I can see it? So it's you can still learn a lot from someone who is also at a lower experience level than you are, and I think that's just the beauty of wrestling.
Well, that's a continued education, just like anything else. You
It
know,
is
it's any other job.
ongoing. Yeah.
It's the beautiful thing. Like I talk to a lot of the younger guys, and when I do, I always tell them like, "Hey, what's your next move? Where do you think you're going to go next?" I don't know. I don't know. You should always try looking for another training school because something that you learn here, you're going to learn something totally different there, and it's like it's furthering your own education at the end of the day, and that's what it's all about. Because it doesn't stop. You can always be doing something to improve in some area of your game. It just depends on how seriously you take it. Uh,
Yep.
I want to ask you this, and this is, where do you see yourself over 2025? Like, what are your personal goals with wrestling or in life in general? I mean, it's your call. What are you striving for right now?
Yeah, man. I think I just want to continue to get better, and I don't say that to sound cheesy. Like I really want to continue to train and learn new things and just get super comfortable in the ring. Like I'm comfortable in the ring now, but I would like to maximize that as much as possible and just really continue to feel those feelings of being present. I want to, learn a bunch of new technical things and really just grow and train with some of the best and hopefully wrestle with some of the best. Um, and I think, yeah, the only way to do that is to train with people who are better than you, right? Or to work matches with people that are better than you. I'm always an open book. Like literally every single match that I have, the first thing out of my mouth when we hit that curtain is like, "Hey, are you good? You safe?" And then it's like, "Yeah," and then we just talk about the match, and I just want to soak in everything that they share with me because I think that's the only way that you get better. You can wrestle, 50 matches this year. But if you're not taking at least one thing away from each match, then that's fine. Like you're having fun, and that's great, and that's probably what you're doing. That's no problem at all. Like everyone's in it for something different. But to me, it's like if I can take at least one thing from every match, that'll get me better, and that'll get me to that comfortability that I'm like that everybody's just seeking all the time, right? Um, and yeah, I think also just personal goals wise, like I really just trying to take my physique to the next level. You know, I I'm not. I know I'm not going to be a Batista or a John Cena, and I'm totally fine with that. I think I just want to continue to focus on that and just really pushing myself to be better. I think I got myself to this phase, and it's great, and I'm super happy with everything that I've accomplished. But I think, now I'm like, what's phase two look like? Like I can't just be
You
comfortable all the time. Yeah, yeah,
got to level up. You got
exactly.
there's levels to everything, and that's
Right,
not
right.
just in wrestling. That's in life. You
Yeah,
gotta.
I don't want to just be in a situation where I'm like, yeah, this is great. I'm coasting. I'm cruising. Whether that's with wrestling or whether that's with my fitness goals, right? And I think if you get stuck in that, then it's a little bit of dangerous water. Not dangerous waters. The worst that can happen, you just stay the same. But I don't want to stay the same. I want to get better
Hmm.
in every aspect.
No, that makes 100% sense.
Yeah.
Toddy, what you got? We come around to you.
I just, I love that answer because the one thing that stuck out to me, and we hear it a lot, is presence. Um, Even on evaluations, when people are evaluating you, they're like, "Oh, leadership's the most important." I'm like, "You can't be a leader without presence." So I love that you said that. That resonated with me so much because you have to be present in every single thing that you do, and complacency is not there when you're present. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, you got to smell the flowers. And if you don't stop and smell the flowers and be present, then I mean, take it any way you can. But I mean, life is just gonna breeze by, right? Like the time's just gonna breeze by, and then you're gonna be like, oh man, maybe I should have done this, maybe I should have done that. And I never want to find myself in that situation, right? Like I never want to be like, I wish I could have done this in time. Like I just want to do it. Like I think that's the mentality to have. If you want to do something, just do it. Freaking do it. And if you fail, that's how
I
experience is made, right?
listen.
Right.
Do you know why this channel got started in the first place?
No, no, not. I gotta hear it now, though.
One person,
Uh,
one person told me that I would never hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube on independent wrestling. I said, hold my beer. We're just over 2 years in, and we're on the cusp. We're knocking on the door. I want to hit a
Yeah,
thousand, and I don't care. I don't give a fuck about view counts. All I care about on YouTube is how long did you watch the product, right? And if you watched more than 80% of it, I'm okay with that. Uh, it's not for monetary purposes, and we're right there just so I can say fuck you and give them a middle
yes,
finger and go from there. And it's turned into such the most gratifying thing that I think I could have ever done. Like I was really good when I was in the ring. Was I great? Absolutely not. Was I solid? Yeah, yeah. I knew what I was doing. Uh, but this is more gratifying than being in the ring because we have the opportunity every fucking week to put new people that we've never seen before, whether it's watching an independent show like we did with House of Champions, at doing a Beyond the Bell with you. We're putting new product in our fans and our audience's faces that they've never seen before either, and they're getting the opportunity to watch it and explore it with us as we're doing it. And to me, being able to turn on product of like a HOC and the talent that's attached to it to first time watchers as well. They're into it, right? And this is not just like an HOC. This is anything that we watch. They're into it. It's like what the fuck are we mind blown because they're experiencing the same thing that we're experiencing as we're experiencing it, and it's bringing you guys to different eyeballs who may not ever see it.
absolutely. And you guys are damn good at it. Like I told you that day when I saw you, and I told you through DM, like the stuff that you guys are putting out is incredible. And the best part is you enjoy doing it, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like work. Like this is your passion. This is something that you guys care about, and you guys are good at it. So it's a win-win for
We
everybody.
and even then, like yes, our channel makes money. It doesn't make a lot of money by any means, but we don't fucking keep it. We give it back. We're trying. It's a couple $100. I'm talking to the HOC later on this year as we get to a bigger event. Like I want to sponsor a match. That's what that money's for. It's to put it back into the companies that we connect with and that connect with us. And it's not just here, like it's all over the world, brother. When I tell you like we're global, I'm not kidding you. We've got really good connections all over the world. And if you guys ever take off and want to go overseas, I'm more than happy to point you in the right direction. Go talk to this guy. Here, let me introduce you via DM and y'all work this shit out and go do what you need to do. And vice versa for overseas guys to come over here that want to work. We just That's the circle of life. It's getting you guys work. It's getting you guys to, you know, for us to be able to use any connection that we've made with a company or with other talent or with people who can arrange international travel and shit like that. Like that's the win. That's why we're here. And I say all that, because I have a question that I ask everybody. And if you've watched any of our Beyond the Bells from beginning to end, then you know what question's coming. If not, then allow me to give you the circle of life of our channel. If you had 5 or 6 people, can be men, women, can be tag teams that are on the independent scene right now that you think we should take a look at, who would they be? And
Mm.
yes, you're being put on the spot. Preface this, but he has no idea that this question was coming unless he's watched the show before. And if he has not, don't get mad if he doesn't fucking mention you, because this is and I'm gonna tell you why I asked that question after you give me the answers.
Okay. Okay. So five people.
It doesn't matter. It could be 3, 4, 5, whatever comes to your head. It could be 6, 7. I don't care.
Okay. Cool. Well, let's just start with what comes to mind. I mean, I got to I got to highlight my coaches, right? So Keikoa, Jamie Stanley. They're both on the independent scene, so they're definitely worth looking at. I'm sure you guys have looked into their stuff. Maybe not done a deep dive yet, but they're they practice what they preach. So definitely worth looking into their work, and they've been around for quite a bit. So they've been around the block. um, and then you just want me to just quick fire, just keep moving on.
Yeah, no, just keep rapid fire, and yeah, because I've seen Keikoa. I've seen his match with Devious Cass, who's a cat that's up north, young kid, and super fucking talented, super fucking
Yeah.
talented.
Oh yeah.
Saw that match, was really impressed with it. James Stanley, I've just been introduced to, so I'm looking at stuff on the personal time. But there's something coming there for sure. Just give me your names, and I'm gonna tell you what's up when we get through when you get through.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'm just thinking Hawk right now, so I'll throw out Casey Rocker. Casey Rocker
Okay.
is a good brother, good worker. Reese Maddox is up there as well. Big Boy Patty, got to shout out Big Boy Patty. Me and Patty started around the same time at the Hawk, and he's just crushing it right now. Um, the Kid Kuda, I know you saw Kid Kuda in that last
Mm-hmm.
show. Kid Kuda's awesome. He's a good dude, great brother, great worker. Had the opportunity to work him in a previous show at Establishment Wrestling, and he's awesome. And see here, this is a great question. This is the definition we would put on the spot here.
Oh yeah.
And I like the disclaimer in the beginning. No one's allowed to get mad if I don't mention you. Like if you're in this
Oh yeah.
situation, this is
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
No, bro, I've had it happen with several people. That will drop a clip, and their buddies. Or you didn't mention me. You didn't mention them, dude. Okay, just relax, calm down. That's my favorite saying. You need Taylor Swift. You need to go calm down.
Yeah, this is like those sorry, I'm gonna sidebar here for a second, but you're watching like Deal or No Deal, one of those game shows. You're like, you're
Yeah,
so dumb, you should have
yeah.
done this. Yeah, you don't know until you're in that situation.
Oh sure. No, the pressure's on. That's okay.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So and then I'll say Slade Porter. I know you got a
Yep.
glimpse of him as well from our previous shows. I love Slade. He's hilarious.
Yep.
And I'm gonna I'm gonna really hate saying this, but I'm just gonna say Matthew Ennis.
And I'm gonna tell you to
Right?
fuck off on that one.
Yeah, yeah. And if you did, I would not be offended at all.
I just did.
I'll just. Oh, you did. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
Not taken. Not taken.
Yeah.
It was just violence. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
Go cry about it.
Despite him being a total turd, he's been around the block for a little bit, and if he would just put his BS to the side, he is a pretty worthy competitor, I would say. You feel free to edit this part out. I will say that you don't have to include this in there. Can't stand that guy, but I like to give credit where
That's
credit's
the
due, and
that's
I'll
the
give him just a little bit.
that's the thing about him is he has the potential to be so good, but he makes it so easy to just turn the other way. I turned my back on him. when he hit the ring at the HOC. I literally stood up and turned my back
Most
on him.
people do,
I
and then they'll
I
go.
yeah, got nothing. I got nothing for him.
Yeah,
But the other names, I'll tell you this, and why I ask you that question. Again, our channel revolves around independent wrestling. We have our spotlight shows on Thursday nights, which is strictly 2 hours of watching different stuff from different people, you know, all over the world, as well as different companies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the names that you give me are names that go on. I have an internal list, and I go on my list, and when I get around to it, it's there. Every name that you give me, will make my spreadsheet, as I call it. And I go back and we watch the stuff, and because that's the best way to introduce us to new people that we may not be familiar with, is by getting the recommendations by guys like you who are in the ring with them or who do know them and know what they're capable of, because there are diamonds in the rough everywhere. And
oh yeah,
again, that's just a way for you to help us find them. And like I said, there's always, you can find good in everything, everything. There's something positive can come out of it. I have $1 million question for you. If you sweated that one, you're gonna hate me now. Let me
oh boy,
pick your name, pick your brain, if you will, on some possible, dream matches for you on the independent scene. Who are some people that you would like to get into the ring with at some point in time? Just people that you know that you want to get in there and wrestle.
yeah. Great question. I think one of the guys that's at the top of my list is Mustafa Ali.
Fantastic.
My man is just killing it everywhere, and he has been for a while. And I think more recently he's really I've just really most recently I'm really enjoying what he's been putting out, and he's a hell of an athlete, hell of a competitor. I love everything about him, and he's definitely in my top five people to work on the independent scene.
Mustafa Ali's the dream match. All right. Who else? Who else you got?
Um, I'd say Matt Cardona too, the indie god, right?
Oh yeah.
He we had an opportunity to meet him. He came to the House of Champions last year and spoke with some of us. Held like a seminar, and the information that he gave us, and the knowledge that he shared was just invaluable, man. And I'm really glad I was there. He talked to us about everything from truthfully, he didn't really spend a lot of time on like in ring stuff. He spent a lot of time on things outside of the ring, obviously related to wrestling, but like merch, how that's important,
Mm-hmm.
and just really and branding. Like branding is obviously so huge when you're a professional wrestler that a lot of people don't take the time to focus on that because they're just focused on the wrestling, right? Like, and brand is what gets you recognized and makes you who you. And he just, man, it was if I could have recorded that entire session just so I still have notes from that somewhere, but if I could just record that session and like play it back every now and then just to like download that information and engrave it to my brain, like that's how incredible the knowledge he shared was.
Fantastic. I love to hear that. I
Yeah.
think that's tremendous. Um, Toddy, do you have anything else on your mind? Any other questions you want to ask our fantastic guest today?
I don't really have a question. More or less. I I like that you said you want to continue to improve, and we talked about analytics. We talked about the reasons why we're doing this, but I think that another reason is we listen. Just like you said, you listen to the fans. We also listen to what people want on this channel. And it's amazing that part of that is finding people like you who do what you do and being able to present that because that is what the viewers want to see. And I think it's because of the attitude, the work ethic, everything that you have going on, you are that product that they want to see. And it's refreshing to hear that you're just going to keep going up. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. And I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. That truly means a lot. Thank you for saying that.
Mr. Malik, the floor is yours. If you've got anything you want to plug, anything you want to push, anything Mo Malik, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, man. As you mentioned, we've got our upcoming show at the Tournament of Champions, where I'll be competing with Blanco Loco and Max Danziger. So that's gonna be a fun one. Tickets are available. If you visit my socials, it's just at Monday Night Mo on everywhere. Click the link in my bio. You can buy tickets there. Come say what's up. Come say hello. And I'm also doing um, a match, a battle royal actually for promotion. I'm debuting at Lionheart Wrestling. So they're doing a battle royal, and there's going to be different people representing different countries. So Mexico, Chile, Guatemala, Puerto Rico, and I was asked to represent Morocco. So I'm super excited about that. Um, be on the lookout for that in that date. It's May 2nd. But it's going to be on my socials and stuff if you want to check that out. And yeah, just if you want to stay connected with me, follow me on socials again at Monday Night Mo. And I look forward to getting to know some of you, and hopefully, we have an opportunity to meet each other in person. So that's all I
This is,
got.
hey man, no, it's fantastic, and I will add one other thing to that. If you want to grab some merch right there, prowrestlingtees.com/Mo Malik is probably where you want to head over. Do you do mailouts?
I don't know. So
No?
everything is
Okay.
handled through Pro Wrestling Tees. They'll ship it directly to you.
Perfect. All right. Some people do mailouts, some people don't. I always ask because we'll get into that later. I truly appreciate everything that you guys are doing down there, and for being so welcoming for our channel, and really just it's the beginning of what I feel is going to be a really good relationship, and that's what we're all about. And it's the genuine connections. It's being authentic and just being organic and being 100. I know that this is going to be a very wild ride for you. I definitely want you to send me the socials for all the feds that we've talked about today. I have House of Champions, but all the other ones I don't have. But send them to me so that I could go ahead and get them followed as well, because
Absolutely.
we want to keep up with all that. Because I would imagine, I mean, I just saw that you and Ennis just did something this past weekend in another place. So,
We did.
uh,
We did. Got the W.
oh,
Um,
thank God.
so no, yeah, thank you.
I was afraid to ask.
Yeah, but the real W was me burping him in front of quite a bit of people. So that was nice, and that's something I'm gonna replay every week just to remind myself that I did that to him.
I think it's great. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna clip it in, and we're gonna watch it here too. So it'll be on this recording in post. Um, Toddy, what do you want to say to the people before we close out?
um, I know that I say it each and every time, and I say it because I mean it. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for sharing this incredible journey with us, with people who love seeing the things that we love seeing. It's amazing to have you. I love each and every one of your faces, and I can't wait to see you again.
Mr. Malik, it is a pleasure, sir. I'm sure we'll be doing this again, whether it's here on a Beyond the Bell or on a live stream. I'm sure we're going to be getting back together, and we will definitely be seeing you guys here in April and watching the next. And truthfully, this is the show I wanted to come to. Like I wanted to go to the last one too. Don't get me wrong, but this is the show that like the ticketed show, right? Because that's what's gonna help. That's where you can raise a little bit of money for the school and whatever needs to happen there. That's what's so crucial and critical for us. So that's why I say I may not make the student show the actual shows the 3 months in advance, but you'll see me at every paid show. You'll see me at every paid show. Uh,
Awesome.
as long as I can make it happen, I don't have anything else going on like that's crucial or critical or life threatening. We'll be there. Um, we appreciate you guys. If you've made it this far in the video, please go down below. Check all links for all feds that we talked about today. It'll be linked right there for you. Give them a follow. The easiest way that you can support independent wrestling is by sharing, following, and subscribing where you can. Super simple and it costs you nothing. And if you have made it this far and you haven't subscribed to our channel as well, shame on you. And you should probably do that now. The road to 1,000 is real. Help us give the middle finger to the one guy who said we couldn't do it. For Todrick Tavar Ramsey, for the fantastic Mr. Monday Night Mo Malik, I am Chris Page. We will see you next time.